Hey guys, Doug B here. Thank you so much for stopping by. I really do appreciate it. Now last week I was talking about some issues I was having with people not watching part 2 of my tutorial on using the Tone Master Pro to control the Studio Pro 8 DAW. I got some very enlightening responses for which I am very grateful. It turns out that most of you are already invested in another DAW like Logic Pro, or you're just really not all that interested in home recording. So you watched part 1 and then realized there was really no reason for you to watch part 2, so you didn't watch it. However, views are slowly starting to go up on part 2 of that tutorial, so I will probably be posting part 3 here sometime in the not too distant future. I just think it's really important to show all of the commands that were added in firmware 1.7.69 and how they can be used to control the Studio Pro 8 DAW. So that way, people that are interested can either watch part 3 or they can rewatch the whole 3-part tutorial if they're interested. I just want to say again that I think that this new integration between the Tone Master Pro and Studio Pro 8 is a really cool idea, and I hope that Fender does keep more development going on in this area. And I also wanted to say thank you to all the folks that say, Doug, it's not you, your videos are fantastic, keep it up. I mean, even at this age, it's nice to get compliments. Moving on to another topic, one of the questions that I get asked a lot is, how come your presets don't sound the same on my Tone Master Pro when I use them? Now, I've got 27 presets up on the cloud, and all you have to do is search on dB because I start all of my presets with dB. That should make them easier to find. People get frustrated when they hear me using one of my presets in a video, and then they download it, and it doesn't sound the same to them. So what happened? There are a number of factors at play here. One of them is your audio system. Do you use the same audio system for your Tone Master Pro that you do for watching and listening to YouTube videos? I use 3 different audio systems when it comes to the Tone Master Pro. One is my gigging PA, which I have set up in my studio. I have a QSC TouchMix 16 digital mixer hooked up to a pair of QSC K10.2 speakers that are at ear level. Everything is set flat on the QSC system, so the sound from the Tone Master Pro does not get altered at all. That's the system that I use for my preset creation, and since my studio is in a separate building away from our house, I can have that system as loud as I want. And let me tell you, at times I do like it fairly loud, and it is glorious. But when I'm recording in the DAW for the audio to be used in my videos, then I'm connected to my Mac Mini and I'm using the Studio Pro 8 DAW for the recording. My audio system for my computer is a PreSonus 1810C interface connected to a pair of Focal Alpha 80 speakers and a PreSonus Eris subwoofer. Now that system is nowhere near as loud as my PA, and it does take my ears a little time to get used to the difference. But I don't alter the preset for when I do recording, and I don't use any EQ or plugins or mastering on the DAW. What you're getting on there is pure Tone Master Pro. My third audio system is in the house, where I watch my videos to see how they look and how they sound. My audio system there is a 13-year-old Onkyo receiver hooked up to a pair of 20-year-old Polk speakers with a subwoofer behind the TV. This system is set at comfortable living room levels, so my wife and I can still talk while we watch our videos. And none of these 3 systems sound the same. So what I try to do is turn up my QSC system to gig levels when I'm creating presets. The last thing that you want to do is create presets at bedroom levels unless you're strictly a bedroom player. Otherwise, the Fletcher-Munson curves will bite you where it hurts when you go to use those presets at a gig. Now what it says about the Fletcher-Munson curves is this. The Fletcher-Munson curves, or equal loudness contours, are graphs from 1933 showing that human hearing is nonlinear and less sensitive to low/high frequencies at lower volumes. To perceive equal loudness, bass and treble must be boosted at low volumes, while the frequency response becomes flatter at higher volumes. So there's tip number 1. Do not make your presets at bedroom levels. And here's tip number 2. If you're making presets for gigs, do not use headphones. Creating guitar presets using headphones is okay for silent practice, or for editing, or for checking signal flow, but it's the last thing you want to do when you're creating presets that you're going to use at a gig. Headphones often sound brighter and lack the air of a cabinet, often leading to thin or harsh tones when playing loudly. So your audio playback system is very important. The louder you can have my presets, the better they'll sound. Okay, that's at the end of the chain. What do we have up front? Well, we have our own hands and our own playing style, and I can tell you that I'm fairly heavy-handed. Now, I've tried working on this, but after 55 years of playing, it's a habit that is hard to change. But now we come to the things that I think makes the biggest difference between my presets sound the way they do on my videos and why they do when you're trying them. You're not using the same guitar, or the same pickups, or the same strings that I use. And I really should try harder letting you know which guitar I'm using in my videos. I should tape up a little note on my monitor that says, and for this week the guitar that I'm using is this, so that I remember to pass on that information to you guys. That way you'll know, and like if your system is going to translate well, or if you have a guitar that's similar to the one that I'm using. To illustrate my point, I'm going to play a chord and a riff on 6 of my guitars, and you can hear how different they sound on each of those guitars. I'm also going to use a multimeter so you can see the output of each of the pickups on those guitars. I'll start with single coils using my Brad Paisley Road-Worn Telecaster and my Paul Reed Smith Silver Sky SE. Then I'll move on to my Paul Reed Smith NF3 SE that uses narrow field pickups. And then we'll wrap it up with some of my humbucker guitars, a Paul Reed Smith DGT Standard SE, a Fender FMT Telecaster, and a Gibson Les Paul Gold Top. All of these guitars use 942 Ernie Ball strings. I mainly use the bridge pickup for my videos, but sometimes I'll use the neck pickup, like when I'm using single coil guitars. For this video, I will go through all of the pickup settings. Okay, the first thing I'm going to do is give you the output readings from the multimeter. Let's get the readings on the Fender Brad Paisley Road-Worn Telly. Neck pickup reads 5.573. Both pickups together read 3.188. And the bridge pickup is 7.23. On the PRS Silver Sky SE, position 5 reads 7.18. Position 4 reads 3.705. Position 3 reads 7.39. Position 2 reads 3.729. And position 1 reads 7.28. Now we have the PRS NF3 SE. Position 5 reads 7.92. Position 4 reads 3.957. Position 3 reads 7.80. Position 2 reads 4.114. And position 1 reads 8.58. Next we have the PRS DGT Standard SE. Neck pickup reads 7.24. Both pickups read 3.946. And the bridge pickup reads 8.64. Next, we have the Fender FMT Telecaster. Neck pickup reads 6.82. Both pickups read 3.763. And the bridge pickup reads 8.20. And we'll wrap it up with the Gibson Les Paul Gold Top. Neck pickup reads 7.58. Both pickups read 3.910. And the bridge pickup reads 8.04. So none of these readings are on the extreme low side or on the extreme high side, but you can see that for each guitar, the pickups read differently than all the other guitars. Okay, now I'll show you how each of these 6 guitars sounds different when I'm using the same preset on the Tone Master Pro. The preset that I'm using is called DB Highway Test. You can find it on the cloud if you want to test it against your own guitar. Alright, this is the Fender Brad Paisley Road Worn Telecaster, and we'll start with the neck pickup. Here's both pickups. And here's the bridge pickup. This is the PRS Silver Sky SE, and we'll start with position number 5. Position number 4. Position number 3. Position number 2. And here's position number 1. This is the PRS NF3 SE, and we'll start with position 5. Here's position 4. Here's position 3. Position 2. And we'll wrap it up with position number 1. This is the PRS DGT Standard SE, and you've been seeing this a lot in my recent videos. All right, here's the neck pickup. Here's both pickups. And here's the bridge pickup. This is the Fender FMT Telecaster, and this is another guitar you've seen in my recent videos. Here's the neck pickup. Here's both pickups. And this is the bridge pickup. And we'll wrap it up with the Gibson Les Paul Gold Top. Here's the neck pickup. Here's both pickups. And lastly, here is the bridge pickup. So hopefully now you understand why my presets sound different when you use them. Like I said before, I'm primarily a humbucking using guy, so that's mainly what you'll hear on my videos unless I'm going for something different. For example, I wouldn't use one of my humbucking guitars if I was doing a David Gilmour preset or a John Mayer preset. So what did we learn today? Well, everything matters, from your fingers, to the guitars, to the strings, to the pickups, and to your audio playback system. It all makes a difference. So keep an open ear and an open mind, and hopefully everything can get itself sorted out. And if not, hey, rip my preset apart and make it your preset. There is no problem with that. All right, well, I hope you're enjoying this fake spring weather, and you do know that this is fake spring weather, right? It's not really spring yet. But anyway, I will be seeing you next Wednesday.